Hey, this is Kristen with Collision Hub, and we are at the Little Rock Auto Extravaganza in Little Rock, Arkansas. And we've been checking around a lot of the cars. And if you know anything about cars, you know the guy that's come and joined me in the booth right now. We've got Troy with us from Rad Rides by Troy. And I don't think you can turn on the TV channel, whether it's Speed or Discovery or TLC, and not see some of the cars that he's done. And we're going to do a couple of some footage on a little bit later. But thanks for stopping by, Troy.
Hey, it's great. Good to be down here in Little Rock. And I came from Chicago, so it's like summer down here.
Exactly. It was, what, 60-something yesterday?
Yeah, it's nice. It's 3 in Chicago, so it's a good place to be.
Yeah, you Chicago guys went for a walk, weren't you?
Yeah, outside with, yeah. It's like I said, shorts,
We're eating lunch outside today, guys.
That's right. No, it's great. It's great to be here, and they put on a nice show down here. And it's fun, we go through phases where we go to a lot of shows and then, not a lot of shows, and it's nice to, we're doing a few more this winter and actually getting out and meeting with the people.
Yeah, I like the small shows. I mean, we're at SEMA, we're at Detroit Autorama, we're at the LA, but these are the shows where you really get to have some long conversations with folks and get to know them. The one thing about car people is it's not just the car, there's always a story with the car.
That's cars, everybody, there's no right or wrong, and it is. At the smaller venues, even guys like myself, we get to walk around and interact with these home builder guys and learn stuff and look around. And as you mentioned, SEMA and all that, it's like a it's like a race.
Yeah.
You try to see everything, you see half of it,
yeah.
You're wore out. And these venues are great, and they do a great job here interacting with the participants, which some of the shows need to look at how they run this. I think it's done a little better than some of the other ones.
It is nice. I always like to spend as much time with car people as I can because they're just some amazing folks. So. Tell us a little bit about what you brought with us. You got 2 down there.
Well, we brought 2 32 Fords, which we've only built 2, and we're mainly known for the street machines and in customs and all kinds of things. But we brought a 32 Ford that we built for Roger Rizzo from Milwaukee. We did it in, I think, 2005, and it was kind of neat because for the 75th anniversary of Ford, they picked the top 75 of all time. And you're talking the 32 Ford in hot rodding is the most popular car, and there's been 100,000 of them built. So they picked the top 75, and the little green Roadster that we brought is one of the top 75 of all time.
Wow.
And it's the newest car in that group, so that was kind of neat. And then we brought a 32 Ford pickup that we did for George Poteet, is a big guy in the industry everybody does work for, and been my great friend and good customer for a long time. And it's a little more in your face. We brought one that's very subtle, and one that's blingy, and so 2 different contrasts, 2 different styles. So the little truck is based off of Harry Miller, was a car builder from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. He was a guy that was known for, he built every part from scratch. So this was kind of a tribute. Well, if he maybe had a shop truck in the 40s, this might have been it. So kind of that was themed towards it, and there's a lot of detail on it, and it's kind of nice to have the comparison, because some of the builders in the industry, they build one type of car. We build, land speed race cars, show cars, street machines. So pretty fortunate in that aspect.
Just get to have a variety of what you're building and doing every day.
Yeah.
Now the Miller Hauler was Truck of the Year?
Yes, right? It was Good Guys Truck of the Year this year, which was nice. And actually the little 32 was Street Ride of the Year in 2006. So, 2 good cars, and our industry thrives on good customers because we have the guys that can do the work, and with the products we're able to use now in the aftermarket, having the customer trust you, you can really, and the employees that I have, you can really do some good work.
Talk a little bit about, for me, one of the things that I look at first, and I enjoy the craftsmanship, but I'm a paint girl and I love paint. So let's talk a little bit about what you've been spraying. I know you've been using Glazers for a little bit now.
Yep, we've used Glazer, I think, since 2005, and I tell you, we've used some other good products in the past, but we got to the point where we're doing all these high-end cars, and the last thing you want to do is have to go in and redo something that's drastically wrong in the paint, the time that it takes. So, we switched to Glazer, and we've had the most amazing thing. And I always say a lot of products are good now. The industry standards have just come way up, but, we feel that you can visually see a difference in Glazer. And we'll do these cars, and it's always in a hurry. You're infrared lamping them, you're baking them, you're trying to get them to dry faster and buff them, and then you don't want to go back and work on them later. And that's just, we've just had 0 problems using Glazer, and that's very important to us. And no quality control issues or anything. And and we just can't have it. Number one, we don't have the time, and we hate doing things twice.
Right, and I think what you guys do in the hot rod and the custom business is real similar to what we do in the collision repair business. Is we can't afford to do it twice either, because that paint booth line's backing up.
That's right.
So I've got 4 ready to come in, so I really can't either have one stall me out, or I really can't afford to send one back through the throughput.
Yep.
So having a system that works with little errors is a great thing for you to have.
Yeah, no, it's important, and and their tech support's very good. We can call them and you get good answers, and and like obviously we're not a collision shop, so we don't do a high volume. We're smaller volume, and experiment a lot with different things, and a lot of times they'll send out their newer things to us to try, and we haven't done the water thing yet, but we're looking into it a little bit, because we've done a lot of stuff with the 85, so we're green that way. So
right.
Eventually we'll probably get into the water things, but we're very we're chicken on trying things too sometimes, So.
Yeah. I guess that's one of the benefits of not having your custom shop in California.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you get forced into doing it.
you got to hold off a little bit before you watch how everybody else is doing it.
Yep.
So, anything you've done with lately with the Glazerite? Any experiments, things you've done that's kind of caught your eye or attention?
We probably, I don't know, I'm going to say 10 years ago, a couple of us in the industry, we started playing around with the satin stuff a lot, and we do a lot of satin semi-gloss, a lot of stuff with the clear, where we're playing with the finish a lot, and you can look around here at this show. There's a couple cars that are all satin, and that's really the biggest thing we do. And then we've been taking a lot of our top coats and just tinting them with the pearls and stuff, and instead of being like a solid black, tint it with the pearl. And not that that's anything new, but that's something we've been getting into more a little bit. And we've always been known for the colors that we use. Everybody gives me a hard time about using green all the time, but we try to mix up a lot of different colors because I always say, well, you got a really nice car here with all these modifications, and let's say it's black, which is safe and it looks good, it's timeless. But if you paint it these two-tone greens, I mean, but it's the same car, it's just so much more creative. So we're big into the just kind of playing around with the color variations and things.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about satin or matte, because I know if you're walking at SEMA, it was like every other car on the floor this year was in that.
Yeah.
And there's some talk that some of the OEMs are looking at that as maybe a production color.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes me go, because I've heard that once you've got that in and you're doing either satin or matte to your clear, there's a lot less forgiveness, and so then you've got to go to 0 imperfections.
Yeah. See, that's a big thing. That's actually a good thing to touch on, from a car show standpoint, right? So. A lot of these cars are elevated on their displays, and you look at the bottom, and the floors are shiny and all that, So what I always said is a lot of ours, even on the high-end stuff that we did, we would do the floor pan satin and then do the frame shiny just for contrast. Well, you got to kind of educate people. It's harder to do it in satin because once you spray it, you got to have a clean environment, first of all. I mean, you better have your booth working right and have it cleaned. And there's no sanding and buffing.
Right.
So you get what you get. So,
right.
And it's very important to prep it. It's harder than doing it shiny.
Right.
And Glazerite's satin stuff is the best we've ever used. In the past, some of the other stuff where you're mixing old pastes and all that stuff they used to have, I mean, you could never get it consistent. I mean, we can spray 100 different parts and 100 different temperatures and air pressure ratios, and it always is consistently good. And that's important on the satin stuff. And we play around, we do our engines 30% flat, we call it. So we'll take the Glazerite clear that's already the flat, or matte clear they would call it, and we 30% flatten it more for the engine so they're that really dull. And then the outer skin type stuff, we'll do that right out of the can, and then some of the firewalls will go 10%. So we play around a lot with it, yeah, and it makes a big difference.
It probably gives you a lot of depth in the compartment when you're looking down.
Creativity, and contrast. You don't want to look into an engine compartment, everything just looks the same and it just goes away. You want some depth change in that. So.
Well, it's definitely good to know about how Glazerite's mattes and satins are working, because we know that it's a trend that's coming.
Yep.
Usually you can go to SEMA, watch what's on the SEMA floor, or go to the Detroit show or the LA show, and in the next 3 or 4 years, that's what you're going to start seeing coming out of the OEMs.
Yep.
So it's going to probably change the way we completely look at refinishing cars and the collision repair.
It will, and it's funny because we'll do something and that's pretty, let's say, obscure or new, and then a year later you see an OEM thing kind of similar, and they watch it. We have some relationships with the OEM, and they watch what we do. They come to Detroit Autorama because it's obviously in their backyard for the big three, and they look and see what you do and kind of follow, and it is a little bit. And then you take bits. I say we always take bits and pieces from different cars, painting techniques or whatever, and package them. Then you kind of look like the hero, like you invented all that, which you didn't. But But even in the clear stuff, the shiny clear that we use for Glazer, you know, we always look at it in the cup, and it's to me, it's clear. You know, you say, oh, the clear is clear. Well, it sounds crazy, but, you know, they're yellow.
Yeah,
you know, they'll go yellow or milky, or, I mean, their stuff's just, it's on the money. I mean, it's, you know, that's the only thing that we'll put on anything. You know, if a guy comes to us and he wants to do something like, well, it's Glazered or not.
Way to go.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate you taking some time. I know you got a line down there at your booth. People wanting to spend some time with you, talk, get a few autographs, maybe buy some shirts.
Great.
So thanks for stopping by, and we are
Great,
going to
thank
see
you.
you out on the road. Thanks.
Okay.
This is Christian with Collision Hub, and we're going to be back periodically throughout the show. We've got today, the rest of today, and we've got tomorrow, and we still have a Best in Show to pick. We gave out a few awards earlier, and we're going to get around and talk to the winner of the best paint. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. Thank you.